Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Morning Coffee with Kevin. I'm your host, Kevin Peterson. Welcome back. We are, I think, into our 6th episode now. Wow, this is cool. This is actually going pretty well. Anyways, welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody is getting a great start to their day, and I hope everybody is enjoying their first cup of coffee, or even, for that matter, your second cup of coffee. Whatever cup of coffee you're on, good morning, and welcome to the show. So I want to just say first off that we're having some really crazy weather. And, you know, most of you already know this, but the state of flooding in California is just out of control with all the rain we've had. And it's insane. But the thing that really that I really wanted to say right now was, you know, it's almost like when people start driving in the rain for the, you know, I mean, it's been, you know, no rain for months. All of a sudden you get rain and people just turn stupid. God, I don't understand this. I just don't understand it at all. They think, oh, it's raining. I can drive 100 miles an hour. I can tailgate the guy in front of me, and I can switch lanes without looking. I mean, it's insane. You know, people are crazy, man. I was taking my son to school this morning, and I saw multiple accidents. I saw multiple traffic accidents, and it's because people drive too fast in the rain. They don't understand that you can't stop in the same amount of time you can when the road is dry. And then if you stomp on your brakes, there's a possibility you're going to go sliding. People just don't get it. I don't know. Well, enough of that. Let's get into today's show. I was just a little frustrated because I almost got rear-ended this morning, and you know, it's just because people drive too fast. They don't pay attention to what they're doing. So anyways, getting into this morning's show, grouchy here. I think I need another cup of coffee, right? Yeah, matter of fact, I think I'm going to grab me some of my coffee right now. Oh, my God. Yeah, have a drink of coffee and calm down, Kevin, right? Oh, yeah, that tastes good. I do love my coffee in the morning. So, anyways, I'm starting work on a couple new projects, and I wanted to, actually more than 2 now that I think about it. I got 3 projects that are coming up, and I want to talk about those this morning a little bit for, you know, anybody who's interested. And then we can move on to something else. But I have decided that I am going to start reproducing some of my artwork, and I've mentioned this in previous shows. And I've been creating art for years now, and I've never really done anything with it. So I have decided, that this is something I'm going to do, and I've got a promoter and somebody interested in my art on board, and we are going to start releasing some of my original artwork in the next couple months. And it'll be available for viewing. It'll be available for purchase. And I am really excited about this because I never thought my art was good enough, you know, for the public to purchase or to even like, for that matter. I mean, I never created digital art for any other reason than boredom and something to do, just something to keep my brain busy and occupied when I wasn't working on a film project, or I wasn't working, on a music project or something. So this is all going to be really new to me, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm looking forward to having my art out there for people to see and to people to enjoy and to purchase, and that ain't going to be a bad thing because I'll make a little bit of money, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? So I am looking forward to that. I'm going to be keeping people updated on what's going on with that. So I wanted to mention that again because, like I said, I've mentioned it in other episodes. But so I'm going to start working very closely with the promoter who is so interested in working with my art, and we're going to try to pick out some of the best pieces from Series 1. And Series 1 that I did of my art, I think there was approximately 30, maybe 31 paintings in that series. So I'm hoping to pick 4, maybe 6 out of those 30 that are really just kind of outstanding and great, and use those for my first initial prints. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Also, I had mentioned in a previous episode, I had brought up that my record label was going to be releasing a series of nature recordings, and I had mentioned that we were going to bring the series to the podcast so that you, the listeners of the podcast, would really be the first to even hear these recordings before they're available to the public. And the first, which I played in its entirety on the show a couple episodes back, was The Sounds of Nature Volume 1. And it was a wonderful rainfall thunderstorm, and it's just an amazing recording. And that recording, of course, is going to be available on my label, Manila Dawn Records, pretty soon. We're still working on that, but we are actually, and I say we, me and my co-producer of these nature recordings, who is living over in the Ukraine, out of all places, right? He is going to be involved in this next project, and it's going to be a running creek or a river, and I'm not really sure what I want to call it yet, because a creek is smaller, a river is a little larger, and so I haven't actually heard the recordings yet. Valdemir is in the process of producing the recordings for me at this time, and when we've got enough material together, which he's advised me should be very soon, that we are going to start production of our second recording in the series of the nature recordings. So I am really looking forward to that, and when I have that complete, I'm going to play that on the show. So I hope that you enjoyed the first in that series. Like I said, it was a thunderstorm. If you did not hear that particular episode, go back in the playlist and pull it up. It was an amazing recording, and I'm very proud of it. And I look forward to working with Valdemir some more on these nature recordings. It's so far it's been a very enjoyable experience, and I'm looking forward to that. So, moving on to my third project that I have picked up and I am working on. If you know me, or even if you don't know me, and for those of you who do, you might know that I am a fanatic about anything and everything music and music recording. I've gone over this before. I've been a recording engineer. I've been a producer. I've pretty much held every position imaginable in the music industry over the years, over the last 40 plus years. And I have a lot of interest when it comes to the music industry. And one of the things that always interested me, and this goes way back to the early 70s, is I was always interested in analog modular synthesizers. And when I say, when I say modular synthesizers, I'm talking about the ARP, I'm talking about the Moog. There was so many of them. Those are just two to mention right up front. But and the Roland, early on, Roland Corporation had produced a 100M modular synthesizer. And I think, don't quote me on this, but if I remember correctly, this Roland 100M, it sold, I believe, probably for about $30,000. Now, you're talking $30,000 in the 70s. That was more than a car. You probably could have bought two brand new cars for what this modular analog synthesizer cost. And, of course, I could never afford one. If you found one today, they're 40 years old now, they're either going to want premium price for it, and I am talking very premium here, if it's in good working order. In most cases, if you find one today, it's probably not going to be working the way it should, and it's going to require service by a skilled, technician who is familiar with this kind of equipment. So there would probably be a lot of headaches in restoring one of these, unless you just found somebody and that's what they do for a living, is restore these old synthesizers. And I couldn't afford one then. I can't afford one now. So what do? Well, here we go, people. I have decided I am going to build a modular synthesizer based on the Roland 100M, and the company that has made this possible is Behringer. So if you're familiar with Behringer, before you start thinking, oh, they're no good, they're trash, I don't get why people hate Behringer so much. When I got into the business years and years ago, I remember the first Chinese pieces of recording equipment. I was used to American-made right here in the United States. Most of the stuff I was using at the time manufactured right here in California. And, and then all of a sudden you got this little reverb unit for $99, and which is unheard of at the time, and it's made by a Chinese company called Alesis. Nobody had even heard of Alesis. Who the hell is Alesis? Well, guess what? Alesis took off and became one of the biggest manufacturers of budget-friendly pro audio gear. And I believe Line 6 purchased the Alesis name, or, I could be wrong. Somebody purchased the Alesis name and is still manufacturing Alesis, but they're not the same company they were when they first started. But the Alesis gear was good gear at a reasonable price that people could afford. And that is what Behringer is. Now, I admit, when Behringer first started out, they had some issues. They had some quality control issues, and I can understand why people weren't buying their stuff. But we're talking over 20 years ago. Behringer now is one of the top manufacturers of budget-friendly pro audio gear. And matter of fact, for the people who are listening who don't like Behringer gear, let me explain something to you. They did a survey on lowest amounts of returned equipment for repair or wasn't functioning properly when it was bought new. And I believe Behringer was one of the top 5 companies manufacturing audio gear with the lowest return rate, the lowest complication rate. So they're not the company that they were 20 plus years ago. I mean, I'm still using my my MX9000 Eurodesk. And, it's an incredible console. And this thing is huge. It's got 48 inputs. It's an inline console, so you can multi-track with it. You can do live recordings with it. You can use it for a live PA. You can use this board for anything. It's so versatile, and it was so economically priced for everything that it offered. This board is about 20 years old. And people told me, don't buy it, don't buy it. You know what? I bought it anyway. I believe I paid about $1,000 for this board, new, brand new. And that would have been around 99, 2000. It was probably 1999 or the year 2000 when I bought it. This thing was about $1,000 then. And I thought, I'm going to just take my chances. Okay. It's 2023. Think about that for a minute, people. It's 2023. I'm still using this board. I love this board. I would not part with it. It's not for everybody, but it's a great board. I like it. It does what I want it to do. So therefore, I'm happy with it, and I'm going to continue using it. But getting back to Behringer, the man that started Behringer, it was a lot like me in the sense that he had this love for these modular synthesizers back in the 70s. He couldn't afford them. He couldn't afford them. He always wanted to buy one, never could do it because of finances. So he said, I'm going to build these. I'm going to build recreations of these great analog synthesizers. So getting to the point, I am going to build a modular system that's manufactured by Behringer to reproduce and look like the original Roland 100M modular synth. Now, here's the incredible thing. I'm going to be able to build this entire synthesizer for probably about $1,100. Now, you think about that. You can go buy the original Roland, which is probably going to be unreliable, like I said, and need work, or it's going to cost you $40,000 for a mint condition one from 40 years ago, or you can buy the Behringer components and build the synthesizer yourself to your liking. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible that our technology has come so far that we can do that now? And that is exactly what I'm going to do, is I am going to build this modular synthesizer and put it to use in my recording studio. And, that's another thing. The original Roland system, took up the entire length and space of the back of a full-size pickup truck. It was huge. This thing was a monster. The the Behringer setup fits in a little Eurorack case, and it will sit on your desktop. Are you listening, people? This is insane. It will sit on your desktop. It probably weighs under 5 or 6 pounds. Unbelievable. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my third project, and that's what I'm working on. And, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off and give you the history of Behringer, but, they're really not a bad product, people. If you enjoy making music and you're on a budget, Behringer's the way to go, man. And I'll tell you, another way to go, too, is there is a used equipment site called Reverb, and it's reverb.com. And you can get some really nice, lightly used gear there. And I've purchased a few pieces of Behringer stuff there, older pieces. I've purchased some Alesis stuff there, the older Alesis stuff from the 90s that's, been lightly used and still in good condition. And, you can get some good deals. So if you're looking to outfit your studio and to do it on a budget, or you've got a little small studio in your apartment or whatever the case, this is the place to pick up some good used gear at a great price. But anyways, so that's going on, and that's another project I'm going to work on, and I'm really excited about that. I'm actually restoring some PA cabinets right now too, four giant bass bins that I'm going to use with my PA setup. And so, that's about it. I really don't have a whole lot else for you. But I just kind of wanted to, get back into the podcasting, and it's been a little over a week, I believe, since I've put a podcast out, and I like I said before, I don't want to fall back into those pitfalls of some of the other podcasts. So I figured, well, hey, I better get in the studio. I better put something together, and so here's what I've got for you today, and that's about it, people. So I truly, truly, truly appreciate you spending your morning with me and just listening to me talk about music and, whatever. I'm still waiting, to tell you the truth. I'm still waiting for this weather to get better. Like I said, it's been raining. It's just nasty weather. I'm just waiting for some nice weather so I can get in the kitchen and start brewing some beer. I mean, I could go do it right now, but I just haven't. And, I'm just kind of waiting for a little bit nicer weather to do that. And so when I start brewing beer, I'll start talking about that on the podcast too, and, the process and kind of walking people through it, for anybody who's interested in learning the process. That's really about it. The only other thing is, and I don't know if I've mentioned it before or not, but my son is really into model trains, and he gets that from me. When I was growing up as a kid, I was always into model trains, but it's not like it was when I was a kid. Now these model trains are so sophisticated and so realistic that it's unreal. And so I have been working on my son's model train set. I've been adding additional footage to the bench, and we've been laying some new track and putting in some new buildings and lighting, and we've been doing all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's another project I've been working on too. So if anybody's interested in model trains, hit me up. I mean, I would love to do a show about nothing but model trains. I know that my last few episodes have been pretty directed at entertainment and music and what I've got going on. And I know I talk a lot about myself in the podcast, but that's basically why it's called Morning Coffee with Kevin, right? So, and I said early on, I'm going to talk pretty much about whatever comes to mind. and that was pretty much going to be it. Now, I will say that in an upcoming episode very soon, I am going to have a couple different co-hosts on the show. And Mary Montoro, I had mentioned her before. She's going to be a co-host on the show. And I am going to have a really good friend of mine who is going to be on the show to be interviewed here pretty soon, and that's Raymond Pitts. I've mentioned him too. Raymond is going to come on board, and I don't know if he's going to be a regular host on the show, but I am going to have him come on and host at least a couple shows now and then. So if you feel like you're getting bored and the show's not really going where you thought maybe it would, just hang in there, folks. Just hang in there. I promise I will be back with some new and different content here for you in the near future with some new episodes. So anyways, I'm just rambling on now. I'm going to let you go. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy your day. Be good to yourself. Be good to your neighbor. Peace. We'll talk to you soon. I'm Kevin Peterson, and you've been listening to Morning Coffee with Kevin.